Alrighty, we're gonna go ahead and get started today. My name is Siera, and we're gonna be focusing on variations of sun salutation A, which is a really good place for beginners to start. If you're a more seasoned practitioner of yoga, these are the basics, the foundations of your practice. You can build up from it, make it more challenging, build down from it if you're looking for something more relaxed. So I think it's a really great place to start. So come along with me. We're gonna go ahead and begin in a resting seated position. And that's whatever that looks like for you today, whatever you feel comfortable in. And allowing the hands to rest gently on the knees. That can be face down if you're looking for something deeper within the self today, or they can be face up if you're looking for a sign of receiving from the energy around you and this space. All together, allowing the eyes to shut softly as we take a couple moments to get acclimated with our breathing. I encourage us to let go of any thoughts or emotions, things to do that exist outside of this practice, so we can remain fully present for our bodies and for our minds during this time. As we inhale through the nostrils for a count of 4, notice the lungs fill with air, followed by an open mouth. Exhale for a count of 5 or 6. We're slowing down the breathing and the heart rate as we prepare for some movement. Inhale through the nostrils, followed by open mouth. Exhale. And repeating this cycle. Together on our next exhalation, we're allowing the head to bow, allowing the chin to make its way down towards the chest. The cervical spine is long. We can shake the head no to release any tension from the neck. And as we inhale, guiding our right ear towards our right shoulder, getting an extension in the left side of the neck. If we'd like, placing our left hand beside us, we can walk it away from us for a deeper extension from the fingertips through the length of the arm, through the shoulder blade and the neck, all the way into the jaw, and breathing here. If we'd like, gently moving the chin down and back up, just exploring any particular tense points in the neck. It's going to look different for all of us since we hold on to different tensions. Finding that spot that feels good, resting there, and breathing into the extended space. Imagining what our breath would look like isolated to the tense points of the body. And as we exhale, chin meets chest, bring the left hand in. Inhale, guide left ear to left shoulder, nice extension in the right side of the neck. If we'd like, placing that right hand beside us, we can walk it away for a deeper extension here from those fingertips through the full length of the arm and all the way into the jaw. If we'd like, moving that chin down and back up, looking for that point that needs a little more attention in the neck, and staying there for a couple moments. Breathing into this space. And as we exhale, chin meets chest one last time. Bring the right hand in. As we inhale all together, lift through the crown of the head. Draw those shoulders back. Beautiful. As we inhale, we're giving ourselves a little shrug. Bring those shoulders close to the ears. And exhale, roll them down the back just to make sure that spine is nice and tall. The crown of the head is lifted. As we inhale, lift through both arms, reaching them up towards the ceiling. Perhaps the gaze follows, stretching the rib cage. And as we exhale, just allow those shoulder blades to fall into their sockets nice and naturally. As we exhale, the right hand meets the floor, extending through the left side body. The gaze can be down towards the hand here or up towards the top hand, whatever feels good and natural. Walking that right hand away for a deeper extension, but being sure to keep those hips rooted on the mat wherever we are. Inhale, right back to center. Exhale, rotate over, opposite side. The left palm meets the ground. Extend through the right hand. Take a big deep breath in as we get a nice deep extension in the right side of the rib cage. Again, the gaze can be up towards the top hand or down towards the bottom. Whatever feels good. Walking that left hand away for a deeper extension. And as we inhale, come right back to center. As we exhale, we're allowing both hands to come out and down to our sides with complete control. And inhale, bring those hands right back up. Doing this 3 more times. Exhale, float down with complete control. The arms are wide. Inhale, high. And exhale, out and away. Inhale, lift. Last time, exhale, out and down. Inhale, high. As we exhale, we're leading with the chest as we turn to the right side and allow those arms to float down in a twist. Our gaze is working its way towards that right hand behind the body, but being mindful of the neck here, no need to put any strain on it. And as we inhale, we're coming right back to center with the arms high. Exhale, leading with the chest, turn to the left side and allow those arms to come out and down. The gaze is working towards that left palm behind the back. On inhale, come right back to center with the arms high. As we exhale, allowing both arms to float down with complete control. Beautiful. We're making our way onto our hands and knees here. Checking our alignment when we get there. The wrists are going to be right underneath those shoulder blades and the knees are hip width apart. Tucking those toes behind the thighs, so check in with the toes. Make sure they're nice and tucked. As we inhale, we're coming into cow pose. Drop the belly button down towards the mat as we lift through the crown of the head and the tailbone. As we exhale, we're tucking the tailbone as we round out the back, pushing away with those back muscles. As we tuck the chin for cat pose. And inhale, open up. We can go with our own breath here. Otherwise, we're following me. Cow pose, the belly button drops down. The crown of the head and the tailbone are lifted. As we exhale, everything comes in. Tuck the tailbone and chin. Press away with those muscles in the back body. Inhale, open up. Shift with the spine. Shoulders come down and back. The belly button draws down towards the mat. And exhale, round it out for cat pose. Press away with those muscles in the back body. And inhale, open up. Only 2 more times after this. Exhale, cat pose. Inhale, cow. Exhale, round it out. And inhale, open up. And then all together come to a nice neutral spine, beautiful. Allow the right foot to come to the outside of the mat and just let the gaze follow that right heel. You'll feel a nice compression in the right side body there, waking up those inner organs. If we'd like, even lifting through that right heel, getting some engagement in the glute muscle. And all together, bringing that right knee in. Allow the left foot to come to the outside of the mat and the gaze to follow that left heel for a kidney squeeze. If we'd like, even lifting through that left heel, engaging the glute muscle. And all together, bringing that left knee in one more time on both sides. Right foot comes to the outside of the mat and the gaze follows. If we'd like a lift, that's fine. If not, resting those toes. All together, the right knee comes in. Last side, left foot comes out and back. The gaze follows. Nice lift if we feel like it. Otherwise, those toes are resting. And all together, bringing that left knee in. We're sending the hips all the way down and back as we walk the hands forward for child's pose. The forehead rests gently onto the mat. If we'd like, even opening up these knees, allowing the big toes to come together. This allows more space for the chest to come down between the legs. Wherever we're at, the forehead is completely soft as we allow the shoulder blades to open up. Warming up the spine here before we make our way into the bulk of our practice. Opening up those hips gently. And all together, making our way right back to that tabletop position. Beautiful. Grounding that right hand on the floor. We're sending the left arm up to the ceiling. Open up the chest. As we exhale, threading that left hand through the space in the right, the shoulder and cheek meet the mat for threading the needle pose. Now we can keep our right hand on the ground here as support. That's perfectly fine. Otherwise, if we'd like, we can walk the right hand forward, opening up the shoulder blade. Taking nice deep breaths wherever we are. If a bind is in our practice today, we can feel free to guide that right forearm behind the back. But it's whatever feels good for our body. Checking in with the body. What do we need today? Knowing it's okay if it shifts from day to day, but having that mental conversation with the self. And breathing here. All together on an inhalation, returning to that tabletop position. Grounding the left palm into the floor as we inhale, reach the right hand up to the ceiling, open up the chest. And as we exhale, thread that right hand through the space in the left side, the shoulder and cheek meet mat for threading the needle pose. And again, we can use our left hand as support here, grounding it on the floor. Otherwise, if you'd like to open up that shoulder, walking the left arm forward. If a bind is in our practice, working that left forearm behind the back. Again, whatever feels good. And all together, returning to that tabletop position, taking our time with the body as we do so. We're flipping the back toes here, guiding the hips up and diagonally back into downward facing dog pose. working those heels down toward the ground, but having a slight bend in those knees. If we have really tight hamstrings, there's no pressure to send the heels all the way down. The important thing here is to keep those hips rooted up towards the ceiling, as if a little string was pulling at the tailbone. And all together, holding here for about 4 breaths. We're not holding any tension in the neck. We could shake the head yes and no, making sure those fingertips are pressed into the mat to take some weight off those wrists. And all together on our next inhale, drawing those feet up towards the hands, keeping the hips high, the chest stays low for forward fold. Again, the neck is soft. We can have a slight bend in those knees. If we hold a little tightness in the hamstrings, that's perfectly fine. All together as we inhale, we're just lifting the back up halfway, working ourselves into a 90-degree angle here. The hands can rest gently on the shins for half back. And on an exhale, everything softens. Allow the spine to curve, the arms to relax, and the neck to soften along with it. Inhale, half back, only lifting up halfway. Nice long spine. And exhale, round it out. Allow everything to soften. Take a deep breath. On our next inhalation, we're rolling the chest up vertebrae by vertebrae. That means our head comes up very, very last. Being mindful of our spine here. Once we find ourselves at a standing, we're drawing the feet to be about hip width apart, looking for those lines with the ankles and the hips, turning the palms out so they're facing the space around us as we roll those shoulders down and back for Tadasana, or standing mountain pose. The gaze is straight ahead of us. Take a big deep breath in, lift the shoulder blades, and exhale, soften them out as they fall away from the ears. As we inhale, draw both hands up towards the ceiling, reach through the rib cage. Allow the right foot to come just outside of the mat, and on an exhale, the right hand comes down to meet that right leg. Extend through the left side body. Breathing here. As we inhale, come right back to center, grounding that right foot, lifting the right hand. As we exhale, allow that left foot to come outside the mat, and the left hand draws down towards the left leg. Reach through the right hand for a crescent stretch. And breathing here. As we inhale, coming to center, allow the arms to come all the way down to our sides. Once they get there, bringing both hands to heart center. Take a big deep breath in, allow the hands to reach up towards the ceiling. As we exhale, hinging at the hips, allowing the chest to lower down as the hips rise, forward fold. Everything is soft. Inhale, half back, the hands come to the shins, working that body to that 90-degree angle. Exhale, soften, forward fold. Inhale, half back, hands come to shins. And exhale, soften, forward fold. All together, bending the knees as much as we need to ground the hands on the floor. We're sending both feet back as the hips are in line with the shoulder blades for high plank position. Engaging that core and the glute muscles to work our way towards straight lines here. Breathing. All together, we can release the knees down towards the mat, or if chaturanga's in our practice, we can chaturanga down. All together, keep those elbows in as we lower the chest all the way down. Flip onto the tops of those feet as we press the chest up towards the ceiling. The hips stay down low. For upward facing dog pose, the crown of the head is lifted. Nice and strong here. Engage those quadriceps as well as the core. And all together, release the knees, flip the back toes, guide the hips up and diagonally back, downward facing dog pose. Taking 4 deep breaths here. In through the nostrils, out through the mouth. And all together, walking those feet up towards the hands, chest stays low, forward fold. Again, a slight bend in the knees if that feels good. The neck is completely soft. On an inhalation, lifting the back up just halfway, hands come to shins, nice and gentle, engaging the core here as well as those back muscles. And exhale, soften, round out the spine. Inhale, half back, 90-degree angle. Exhale, soften. And all together, rolling that chest up vertebrae by vertebrae, taking our time with the body. Once we find ourselves at standing, plant those feet at hip width apart, adjust our alignment as we need to for Tadasana, standing mountain pose. The palms turn away, shoulders roll down and back. The gaze is straight ahead, finding strength in this stillness and stability here. Breathe. As we inhale, draw both hands up to the ceiling. Nice stretch in the rib cage. All together, guiding the left foot behind the right, finding a nice little cross here. We're allowing that right hand to meet the left wrist. And as we exhale, stretching over to the right side, giving ourselves a nice variation to our crescent stretch here. And breathing into that open space in the left shoulder and the rib cage. As we inhale, come to center, even it out. The hands are parallel from each other. And exhale, right foot comes behind that left leg. Left hand comes down to that right wrist. And exhale, lean over to the left side. Variation of our crescent stretch. Just gently pulling on that wrist. No need to work that shoulder out of its socket by any means. Nice soft stretch. And inhale, right back at center. The hands are parallel. As we exhale with complete control, the arms come down to our sides. We can wiggle out the shoulders if we need to. Finding stillness, allowing those hands to come to heart center. And inhale, reach them up towards the ceiling. Exhale, hinging at the hips, allowing that chest to come down. Forward fold. As we inhale, lift the back up halfway. Hands gently rest on the shins at 90-degree angle. Gaze is towards the top of the mat. And exhale, everything softens. Relax the spine, the neck, and the arms. Inhale, half back. And exhale, release. Everything comes down. Bending the knees as much as we need to ground those hands on the floor. Step the feet back. The hips are in line with the shoulder blades for high plank. Holding here, making sure we're still breathing. All together, we can chaturanga down or release those knees to the ground. Keep those shoulders in close to the chest as we reach all the way down. Flip onto the tops of those feet and lift through the chest here. The hips stay low for upward facing dog. Breathe. Making sure those quads are engaged. We don't want them resting all the way down on the ground. Full engagement here. All together, release the knees. Flip the back toes. Guide those hips up and diagonally back. Downward facing dog pose. And hold for 4 breaths. In through the nostrils and out through the mouth. All together, walking those feet up towards the hands, chest stays low, forward fold. As we inhale, lift the back up just halfway. And exhale, round it out. Inhale, lift the back just halfway, 90-degree angle. And exhale, everything softens. All together on our next inhalation, rolling that chest up, vertebrae by vertebrae, being mindful of the spine and the shift in blood flow as we do so. Grounding those feet at hip width apart, roll the shoulders down and back, open up those palms, Tadasana. Even lifting up those toes and planting each and every one down to the mat to find a full stability here. Inhale, reach both arms up to the ceiling. As we exhale, sitting into the hips as we bend at the knees for chair pose, making sure the core is engaged. We're not over tucking that tailbone. And finding stability here. Those knees aren't going over the toes. The gaze is straight ahead. Keep up with the breath. As we exhale, allowing the right hand to come down and back, opening up the right palm. Once it gets there, the gaze can follow if that feels good. Inhale, bring that right hand right back up. Exhale, left arm comes down. We can open up that left palm, perhaps the gaze follows, nice and strong here. And inhale, right back to center. As we exhale, lower the chest all the way down, forward fold. Relax everything completely. Take a deep breath. As we inhale, lift the back up just halfway, nice and strong. Exhale, round it out, forward fold. Inhale, half back, that 90-degree angle. The hands are soft on the shins. And exhale, round it out, forward fold. Bending the knees as much as we need to ground those hands on the floor. Step the feet back, hips in line with shoulders, high plank. And take a deep breath here. Hold. All together, chaturanga down or release those knees, elbows stay in as we lower chest, flip onto the tops of those feet, hips stay low, lift through the crown and the head and the chest for upward facing dog pose, making sure even the fingertips are engaged here. We don't want too much weight into those wrists. And release the knees, flip the back toes, guide the hips up and diagonally back into downward facing dog pose. And hold here for 4 breaths. Using down dog as our transition today, as our point of strength and stability between movement. In through the nostrils, out through the mouth. And all together, walk those feet up towards the hands, chest stays low, forward fold. On an inhalation, lifting the back up just halfway, 90-degree angle. And exhale, round it out. Hips are high, the arms are soft along with the neck. Inhale, lift the back up just halfway. And exhale, soften, forward fold. All together on our next inhalation, rolling that chest up, vertebrae by vertebrae, coming into our Tadasana, our standing mountain pose, hips in line with those ankles, turn the palms out, roll the shoulders down and back. Take a deep breath in. As we inhale, draw both hands up towards the ceiling. As we exhale, lifting through the hips, finding ourselves in a mini back bend. If we'd like, grounding the palms of the hands behind the hips to give ourselves some assistance in the spine here. No pressure, no force to have the arms lifted. And as we exhale, straightening out that spine, engaging the core, lifting through the palms of the hands. Exhale, allow both arms to come out and down to our sides. As we inhale, bring both hands to heart center. Take a big, deep breath, and on that next inhalation, reaching those arms up towards the ceiling. As we exhale, hinging at those hips, allowing the chest to drop down, hips to lift, forward fold, and take a deep breath. On an inhalation, lifting the chest and the back just halfway, grounding those hands on the shins gently. As we exhale, round out the spine, everything softens. And inhale, lift the back just halfway. And exhale, release everything, forward fold. All together, bending the knees as much as we need to ground those hands on the mat. Step the feet back, hips in line with shoulder blades. High plank. Holding here for a breath, the core is engaged, as well as those glute muscles. And all together, we can release the knees or chaturanga down. Keep that chest in with those elbows all the way down. Flip onto the tops of those feet. Hips stay low, lift through the chest. Upward facing dog. And our last one of our practice today. All together, releasing the knees. Flip the toes. Send the hips up and diagonally back into downward facing dog pose. And taking 4 deep breaths here. On our last breath, all together, we're allowing our knees to make their way down towards the ground, adjusting so we're in that tabletop position and checking our alignment as we do so. Wrists are underneath the shoulders and those knees are hip width apart. All together, allowing the elbows to come down towards the mat, keeping them in line with the shoulders for now. The knees are planted, and on an inhale, we're walking the hands forward, allowing the chest to open up for puppy pose. So the spine is long, our forehead can come down towards the mat as we allow a nice deep opening between the shoulder blades. Breathe. Really allowing that chest to open up as much as feels comfortable. And all together, walking those hands right back to our tabletop position. Just as a transition to our child's pose, allow the hips to meet the heels and the knees to open up. Walk the hands forward, chest comes down low. And breathe. As we inhale, drawing that left palm through the space between the right hand for a variation of threading the needle pose with the hips nice and low. And as we inhale, ground that left hand. Exhale, right hand threads through the space in the left side. And all together, release that right hand. We're making our way all the way down onto our backs here. Taking our time as we do so. Allowing the feet to stay planted in the mat so the knees are bent. Taking a deep breath here. All together, bringing those knees in towards the chest for reclined child's pose, allowing those arms to wrap around the legs as much as they can, giving ourselves a little hug. If we'd like, we can rock from side to side, massaging the full length of the spine. Allowing the body to cool and the muscles in the face to soften as we make our way into the meditation portion of our practice today, or Savasana. All together, keeping the right knee in close to the chest, we're sending the left heel up to the ceiling. And on an exhalation, slowly allowing that left leg to make its way all the way down to the ground. Once that left foot meets the floor, we can roll out the right ankle clockwise and counterclockwise, giving ourselves some nice release there. If we'd like, we can stay right here, allowing the hips to open up. Otherwise, we can allow that right leg to come across the side body in a twist, bringing it over that left side. Now, I don't want us forcing or pushing that right knee down to the ground on the opposite side. Allow the spine to fall as it naturally does. So if there's a slight lift between the knee and the floor, that's perfectly fine. Breathing here, allowing the hands to find themselves in a comfortable spot with this twist. If we'd like, exploring what extending the right leg out feels like. Otherwise, we can stay at a bend or just stretching the hips. That's perfectly fine too. And all together, bringing the right knee in towards the chest if it wasn't already there. As we inhale, draw the left knee right back up to meet the right side. And all together, reaching the right heel up towards the ceiling. As we keep the left knee in close to the chest, exhale, releasing that right leg down to the ground with complete control. Once the right foot meets the floor, we can roll out the left ankle clockwise and counterclockwise. And if we'd like, finding stillness right here, opening up that left hip joint, otherwise guiding that left knee across the right side body in a twist. Again, not forcing or pulling that left knee down to the ground. Allow the back to fall as it does naturally. If that means there's a space between the floor and the left knee, that's perfectly fine. Breathing here. If we'd like, exploring what extending that left leg out feels like. Otherwise, if we're staying at our bend, that's perfectly fine. The arms are resting wherever they are, along with those muscles in the face. And all together, as we inhale, straightening out the spine, bring that left knee back to the center line of the body. Inhale, draw the right knee up to meet the left, reclined child's pose. If we'd like, we can hang out right here. Otherwise, we're grabbing towards the inner soles of the feet, allowing the knees to come out and down to our sides for happy baby. And if we'd like, rocking from side to side, opening up those hip joints. If we'd like a little stretch in those hamstrings, perhaps we're bending into one knee as we extend the opposite side, just exploring the mobility in our own body wherever we are, asking ourselves what feels good and what we need, knowing it's okay that that look is different for all of us since we all have different bodies. Wherever we are, finding some release here. And all together, bringing those knees right back in towards the chest and allowing both feet to meet the mat. The knees are bent. Allowing the bottoms of the feet to come together, the knees are going to open up and out for reclined bound ankle pose. Now, if our hips feel really vulnerable here, because gravity does a really good job of allowing those legs to open up naturally, you can place a pillow or a blanket, any little object that would be cozy underneath the knees, which would just allow a nice stopping point. Otherwise, gravity does a great job of taking the stretch into its own hands. Wherever we're at, allowing one hand to come to the heart and one to come to the stomach. Allowing ourselves to bring our gaze inward, reflect on our practice today. Breathing, perhaps noticing how the breath is shifted now from when we began our practice or during the bulk of our movement. Just noticing, just checking in with the body. And all together, closing those legs like a book, extending the feet straight out and down to the ground, finding ourselves in a full laying down position or corpse pose. We're allowing the feet to come wider than hip width apart. They're going to sway out nice and naturally, and that's perfect. All together, turning the palms out so they're facing the ceiling as we roll the shoulders down the back. So the chest is lifted and the spine is long. All together, going to a full scan of the body, starting with the muscles in the face, releasing any tension from between the eyebrows. Allow the eye sockets and the cheekbones to be heavy. Removing the tongue from the roof of the mouth, allowing the lips to part naturally, unclenching the jaw, and following that softness into the neck and the shoulders. Allowing the tension in the body to melt away as we notice the biceps and the triceps, each elbow, the forearm, the wrist, noticing the palms of the hands and finding a release in each every fingertip. center line of the body. Notice the rib cage, the heart, and the lungs. Notice the inner organs, stomach. Allow the hips to be heavy and weighted as the mat supports our body completely. Finding a release in the quadriceps and the hamstring. Notice each knee, the calf, and the shin. Any sensation of the ankle and the tops and the bottoms of the feet. Noticing each and every toe. And taking, if not just this one moment, to be completely free of tension. Relieving ourselves of the need to bear any weight in this moment. Isolating the focus on the self, on our state of being. Remaining here and still with our breath. If we'd like, we can stay in our laying down position or corpse pose for another couple moments. Otherwise, unless we're pregnant or have high blood pressure, we can roll over to the right side, allowing those knees to come in nice and close, and the chest follows in a fetal position, just allowing ourselves to be close with the body for a little bit longer. I'd like us to take this time to send a thank you note to the body and mind that brought us into this space and onto the mat. Whether that's a simple thank you for being able to draw you to the mat today, for being able to move and breathe and take this time out for the self. Or perhaps it's paying ourselves one compliment. And upon sending that thank you note, taking our time, making our way back up to a resting seated position, much like the one we started our class with today. Allowing our hands to come to heart center or your third eye. I thank you all for taking the time to share this practice with me and to allow me to guide you and lead you through it. The light and the love within me sees, I bow, and recognize the light and the love within you. Namaste.